Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into a hidden story, and it comes from a pretty unexpected place. We're going to connect these huge, grand architectural visions with the nitty-gritty reality of what actually keeps them from falling apart.
I know. It sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, right? But seriously, the answer ties together this beautiful, grand vision for a whole community with the messy, super frustrating reality of what it actually takes to keep it all going.
Okay, so to figure this all out, we've got to travel back in time. We're going back about 100 years, to the very beginning of this small, very carefully planned village just outside Chicago called Bannockburn. And let me tell you, this was not just some random development. No way. It was a purpose-built community. Its founder, a guy named William Eiton, designed it to create a very specific kind of lifestyle. So Aiken's big idea was all about country estates. We're not just talking about houses here. The whole plan required these huge lots. They eventually grew to a 2-acre minimum, all to create this feeling of wide-open pastoral space. A real escape from the hustle and bustle of Chicago. So over the years, Bannockburn just kept on growing. It started at 110 acres and ended up over 1,300. Then the tollway came through, which really kicked development into high gear. And of course, the village had to add all the stuff needed to support this unique vision, all while trying to keep taxes from going through the roof. But here's the thing, Aiken's beautiful vision, like any big plan really, it all depended on something nobody ever sees. Right below those perfect lawns and beautiful homes, there's this hidden network. And if that network fails, the whole vision just stops. Yeah, we're talking about the universal, super annoying problem of drainage. A clogged drain could not care less if you live in a tiny apartment or one of these huge country estates in Bannockburn. It is the great equalizer. It can completely wreck your day and turn your dream home into a total plumbing nightmare. And it sounds like such a simple problem, doesn't it? But trying to clear a blockage somewhere deep inside a modern home's maze of pipes, it is not simple. To fix this kind of thing, you need some surprisingly high-tech tools. So the question is, how do you fight an enemy you can't even see? One that's buried deep inside your walls and under your floors? Well, you need a specialized toolkit. That's how. Okay, first step in the toolkit is something called power rodding. Just think of this as the brute force approach. It's basically a heavy-duty snake that physically smashes through solid blockages in your main sewer line. Things like nasty tree roots or whatever other junk is down there. All right, then you've got hydrojetting. This is totally different. It's more like a deep clean. It uses an insanely high-pressure stream of water to basically pressure wash the inside of your pipes. It just scours away all the grease, scale, and all that other gunk that builds up over time. And this really gets to the heart of what modern plumbing is all about. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal anymore. It's all about diagnostics. You use a physical tool for a physical blockage like tree roots, and you use the high-pressure water for greasy buildup. It's like a surgical strike instead of just guessing what's wrong. But that leads to the biggest puzzle of all, right? How in the world do you find the exact spot and the exact cause of the clog without ripping your walls open or digging up your whole lawn? That would be a disaster. The answer is a camera. A tiny, waterproof video camera. This tech lets a plumber see exactly what's going on inside your pipes in real time. It's super targeted, really efficient, and best of all, you don't have to destroy anything to figure out what's wrong. You find the problem, you apply the right fix right where it's needed. Okay, so now that we know about the tools, let's see how they're actually used on the everyday problems we all run into. Everything from a clogged kitchen sink all the way out to the main sewer line. You don't really think about it, but the plumbing network in a typical house is just surprisingly complicated. From the kitchen sink that's always getting grease in it, to the main line buried in your yard, literally every single connection is a spot where something could go wrong. So here's the big takeaway. Plumbing today is so much more than just guesswork. It's all about that precise diagnosis, followed by using the exact right tool for the job. Doesn't matter if it's a simple toilet clog or a full-on hydrojetting of your entire system. All right, so let's zoom back out. Let's move away from the individual pipes for a second and get back to that big picture, Bannockburn and that whole original vision of country estate. Because that beautiful, idyllic lifestyle, It completely depends on this huge, hidden network of pipes and drains and systems all working perfectly. They have to be totally out of sight and totally out of mind. The vision, well, it only works if the infrastructure works. And get this, keeping that invisible infrastructure running across more than 2 square miles of land, that is what lets the 1,013 people who live there enjoy the exact quality of life that William Atkin dreamed up for them almost 100 years ago. It's a really interesting thing to think about, isn't it? What other invisible systems are keeping your world running right now? I mean, from the pipes under our feet to the massive power grids that cross entire continents, our modern lives are built on these incredibly complex, absolutely essential networks that we almost never think about. Until, of course, they stop working,